Cathay Cargo, the cargo arm of Cathay Pacific, a Hong Kong-headquartered combination carrier, recently rebranded itself as We Know How. We had a chat with Tom Owen, the Director of Cargo at Cathay Pacific, who explained to us the importance of India in an unpredictable world of decentralized manufacturing and supply chain de-risking, and what its impact on Cathay Cargo's business has been. Hello and welcome, this is Mallika Mishra, and in this episode of Cargo Tales, we bring you a crisp insight into Cathay Cargo. India, the fifth largest country as per GDP ranking and a neighbor to China, became a feasible alternative for global manufacturers during and after the pandemic. This is especially when China and Hong Kong were shut for a prolonged period due to COVID lockdown protocols. At the time, businesses were affected and organizations started to look for backup. As the market reopened and normalization began to sink in affected economies, India held on to this opportunity in disguise to rise as a reliable alternative in the manufacturing ecosystem and become a catalyst in de-risking the complexities of supply chains. In this context, Cathay Cargo deems India as one of the most important in its network. Let's listen to the director himself give the reasons.
So there are our sort of core markets. India itself and the region has always been important and continues to grow in our share of revenues for the opportunity. We're very excited about India for the medium to long term because of the strong manufacturing base we see here around various aspects, for instance, pharmaceuticals, aeronautical products, finished garments and the like. And there's been also some encouraging growth around IT as well, I can see being invested into India in terms of future electronics growth. So for us, India has always been important, but it continues to grow and will reflect our capacity accordingly. We're adding back a significant amount of passenger services, which is wide-body aircraft for us for our cargo operation through the rest of this year and next year. We'll be back to roughly 43 plus flights a week on the passenger side by the end of next year, including all the main Indian cities. And on our freighter side, we're operating, as I said, 21 freighters at the moment and looking to grow that if we can find opportunities, particularly in places like Bangalore, Hyderabad, where we feel there's the need for wide-body deck capacity, main-body freighter capacity uplifts.
Moreover, quite interestingly, when we asked Tom Owen about commodities or segments that have risen from a business perspective, he mentioned cross-border e-commerce and perishable and fresh produce, adding that these segments have strengthened, particularly after COVID. Now it's time for a quick glance at some key figures of Cathay Cargo. Cargo yield fell over 51% from 5.75 Hong Kong dollars to 2.76 dollars in the first half of 2023, which as per Tom Owen is likely to remain in the same range with high probability of seasonable uptick in quarter 4. However, he was also candid and said that yield is going to be a challenge for the business, with falling yields being a reflection of a weaker market. Take a look at his comment.
Yeah, the yields are still stronger than they were during COVID. So we haven't seen the calamitous decline that the shipping businesses might have seen. The yields are down for sure, significant amounts. But I think going forward, it's going to take an adjustment in terms of the supply, i.e. probably less freighters in the market, retirement of freighters possibly from the global stock, and some uptick on the demand side for the consumables in the US and Europe, etc. There's going to need quite a lot of that to happen before I think we see a sustained recovery. So not for the next 6 months, I wouldn't have thought.
About 651,000 tons of cargo has been carried by Cathay in the first half of 2023 until June 30th. This is 23.8% higher in comparison to 526,000 tons in the first half of last year. Speaking of revenue, in the first half of 2023, it decreased by 11.6% to 10,741 million Hong Kong dollars as compared to the same period in 2022, reflecting a weaker global market for air cargo. According to Tom Owen, the main reason behind the rise this year was because of the ease in quarantine restrictions on crew members and increase in wide-body freighters. Tom said that Cathay Cargo operates anywhere between 95 to 105 freighter flights a week from Hong Kong, of which 18 to 21 are from India alone. Cathay Cargo operates 20 Boeing 747 freighters, of which 14 are Dash 8 type. As per the latest traffic figures available for the month of July from Cathay Cargo, Overall cargo demand in July remained at similar levels as compared to June. The airline carried 115,729 tons of cargo, which was 14.9% higher when compared with July 2022. Capacity measured in available cargo ton kilometers increased by 47.9% year-on-year. The anticipated available cargo capacity for this year is about 85% of pre-COVID level, and by the end of next year, they expect to approach 98%. Now, as far as Cathay's vision for future growth is concerned, Tom Owen said that they aim to incorporate various measures to be more sustainable and efficient in their fuel consumption, as governments and regulators worldwide speak of climate change and achieving the common goal of net zero by 2050. Cathay is committed to get 10% sustainable aviation fuel by 2030, of which over 2% has already been established. Speaking of Cathay's digitalization plans in the future, Tom Owen highlighted that Cathay Cargo is close to 100% electronic airway bill. One of the key focal areas, according to him, is on using the IATA's One Record messaging framework. Take a look.
Our focus now is on using the IATA One Record messaging framework to link with our freight forwarding community, to link with our interline partners, and to really provide a common messaging standards for the end-to-end supply chain for cargo. Another focus on the digital side is around the data, the availability of data and information. So we've built our own integrated data hub over COVID, which for the first time has brought a plethora of really interesting data to our fingertips. And we've created many dashboards now within the organization, which different teams use for different purposes around operations, around revenue, around efficiency, and around other aspects. So the data and the smart use of data is really become a reality now for Cathay. And we've always talked about big data, but now we're actually able to use it. And the third thing is around areas of operational excellence, which we're trying to differentiate ourselves. Things like track and trace, things like online booking. Our relatively new online booking engine has had great success in the market, and we're using that to drive sales directly with customers, as well as working with platforms. We also have our own website and booking engine, and other innovations around things like measuring dimensions and capture dimensions for arriving in the warehouse to allow better build-up and better revenue optimization. And I think we have a digital plan, digital roadmap, and we're moving along that and knocking off the bits piece by piece.
Now, with all that being said, today Cathay Cargo stands resilient post the pandemic and looks at an optimistic future. To stay updated with more such interesting insights, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.